These are bullets all day long. They got the Knight of Pentacles, the Strength. He shot himself. There's the
family attorney says the 23-year-old died from a gunshot wound to the head, and the manner of death was suicide.
I don't know what he used. I know it's a rope involved. I don't know what he used that rope for. Let me see. The secrets. He's taking the secrets with him. You see the secrets? He's not giving y'all the information. Says y'all don't need to know it. You know? He'll go out with the secrets with the high priest there. He might be found on a Wednesday. Ace of Wands. So I have no doubt in my mind they're gonna find Brian Laundrie, October 2021. I'm telling you, he's still to the day.
Hello, my loves. It's TTMG, the Tarot Medium Goddess here. Thank you so much for being here. Please do stop what you're doing and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to tell me what you think about what happened in this case in the comments below. And do show your girl some love and share the video. I appreciate every single one of you. It's true. I love you, boo.
Give me 2 seconds. All right, what's up, everybody? What's up? How y'all doing? Watching on the live or the replay. I'm about to get into it. We're about to get into it. We're about to talk about TD Jakes. So we're about to cover this topic, this breaking news. TD Jakes. Now, I can't really say breaking news because I haven't really covered breaking news in the last, I don't know, year or two. I haven't been the first one to jump on live as soon as news broke. About a good year or two. But I'm gonna try to be more diligent with my stuff, as time goes by. In the meantime, if you don't know about me, if you haven't heard about me, you might want to check my About Me at True Crime Psychic on YouTube to see how accurate I can be. I know a lot of you guys have checked out a lot of readers who are in psychics and mediums and prophets who are very point on some of the readings that they have done in the past. Well, my readings are pretty hot too. I should be blowing up all over the news if you ask me, but I don't come on enough for that, right? I don't really be going live like that. But I might just start doing that 2024, and the world will know about me. I call exact dates that bodies will be found. I'll let you know exactly where you can find these bodies. Maybe not the exact address, so to speak, but I'll tell you like, hey, the body might be in the sewer, the body's in a grave, etc., etc. And that's exactly where the bodies are found. Or the cops just passed the body, walk past the body, they literally go back and find the body. So things like that. I speak on autopsies and exactly what the autopsies will say before the autopsies are out. And when the autopsies are out, the autopsies say exactly to the T what I say that the autopsy would say. I also caught the name of the Idaho 4 murderer, Bryan Kohberger, before he was even arrested or known of. I didn't literally say his name was Brian. I said I heard the name Ryan. Brian. Pretty much the same if you ask me. Close enough to it, right? Anyway, let's go into TD Jakes. So, from what I'm picking up, not that it's any of our business, right? But he does have a lot of followers, I was a big TD Jakes followers. My military days and even after, I just love me some TD Jakes. What, late 90s, early 2000s. I remember being in the military for Fort Lewis, Washington, and just my TV channel 24/7, 365 was on Trinity Broadcasting Network, where you would have saw Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes. I remember my ex was asking, why don't you just go to church there? Like, why TV on? So TD Jakes was one of them. I followed Women That Are Loose. I had the Bible, the book, and I just was really into it, And I say, no matter what he got caught up in, no matter what's valid, no matter what's not valid, what I would say is just because somebody might not be leading or following a certain path does not take away from their effectiveness to inspire, to lead, to be very powerful in getting one to one's destiny, right? He's a very powerful speaker. I can say that. Very inspirational speaker. I can say that. And he's a destiny changer. I can say that even now, if you go and listen to what he has to offer, you can really change your life with that, right? So that's not to take away from that. That's not to take away from the power in his words. But if you read, even if you go back into the Bible and you dust it off a bit, you dust your Bible off, blow off that dust, and you read it, it'll say, do as they say, but not. I remember this as a young teenager. I don't remember the scripture exactly. I don't know. Y'all Google it now. Google's out there, right? But it says, do as they say, but not as they do, because they don't do as they say. Right. But is he gay? I don't feel like that's any of our business, really. But seeing that you are supposed to lead a certain lifestyle, and I feel like it does matter, because if you're teaching people to be a certain way, then you should be being that certain way yourself, right? Now we are human and we do fall short, right? It's true. So you can't really, should you judge? I don't know. Now, is he in criminal activity? I'm not quite sure. I haven't really pulled the energy on it. I may. You know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that during this live. How about that, right? But let's say this. Sometimes I need to pull the energy for a good minute to really see whether or not something is true, something is false, or to really understand the energy of a certain situation. Well, in this situation with TDJ, in this particular situation, it came right up like immediately, like X but freaking viciously. Though it's none of our business, and not to spill, not to where's my freaking teacup? Where is my teacup? Lord of mercy. I don't got my teacup. I feel like we breaking the mood and everything. I got some coffee here, but it wouldn't want my coffee because you don't drink coffee. But not to spill the tea or nothing. And I could see energy. If you know me, I call names, specific places. And when I tell you, there's accuracy in him being homosexual. Well, I wouldn't say he's all homosexual because he does lead a life with a wife, and he did have kids and stuff like that. So we might say bisexual, right? Yeah, he got that going on too. You know what I'm saying? He's into men. Let's put it like that, right? So I mean, you can say whether it's right to call him out on it, it's not right to call him out on it. The church is speaking out on it, right? He's speaking out on it, right? He's saying it's false. He's saying it's false. We're supposed to be truth tellers here. The thing is, it's not false. It's true. From what I'm seeing, the energy oops, allegedly. Let me get my banner up going across this screen because we don't need no lawsuits coming in. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm like extremely highly accurately accurate. We're gonna put alleged up there just to cover our behinds, right? We don't need no lawsuits we can't cover, right? Don't need to get all Tasha Cade up in the house, right? So allegedly, from what I can see, and if y'all know me, I can see some good stuff. Matter of fact, I got a notification the other day from somebody. I did let me see how long ago this was. Maybe a year ago. No, it was almost 2 years ago. It was over a year and a half ago. It was Tristan Settles. If you look on my playlist, right? My true crime cases, my missing people cases. It was a 12-year-old boy. He was like 11 or 12. It's called Tristan Settles, from Tennessee. I woke up one morning and he wound up being missing, and I did a live to see whether or not he would be found. Was it foul play, whatever? And I saw what was going on in the situation. So I called the sheriff's office in Tennessee. I'm all the way in PA. I called the sheriff's office in Tennessee and I let her know about my channel. I'm like, I'm doing all these true crime cases. All my cases always come up 100%, right? I'm solid. And I let her know what I was hearing in the case. And she was like, okay, if I get any names to let her know. I was like, I sure will. She seemed like she trusts me. She took my advice, the sheriff. I said, I will. I said, it looks like he will return safely though in the next couple of days. She was like, okay, good. So anyway, I did my live and I told everybody that this little boy looked like he got upset that his parents gave him a spanking, or he got a spanking. And he was like, you know what? I'm tired of getting these spankings. I can deal with the world on my own, right? I can grieve. He packed his book bag full of clothes, put some food in there, put some change in there, some cash, a little bit of money. He had a couple dollars up in there, and he took off on a journey. He was like, man, he's tired of it. He can manage on his own. I said, in a couple days, he's going to be back. He's going to turn back and come back home safely. And within a day or two, he was back home. So I did this reading, and he came back home. I did this reading like a year and a half, 2 years ago. His stepmother just saw it, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's accurate as heck." She was like, "That's my stepmom." She just recently commented on it. I can't find it. Anyway, if y'all look on my old playlist, y'all will see it. You know. Anyway, moving on along. Back to TD Jakes. We're gonna get some of his we're gonna get some of this media going. Give me 1 second. Let's look into this. Let's see what's really going on. So now I would say Sean Combs not doing the hand movements for nothing, right? I feel like he's doing those hand movements because not only is P. Diddy associated in this group, but Bishop T.D. Jakes is possibly, right? I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, oh yeah, well, that's related to P. Diddy, but Bishop T.D. Jakes don't have anything to do with what P. Diddy wants to do. Let's see. Let's ask Tarot. How about that? Is Bishop T.D. Jakes, is he associated in any way? And by the way, I don't need tarot to pull energy. Like, I don't get dates off of tarot cards, all right? Believe it or not, tarot isn't giving me dates. Although sometimes it could give me timelines at times, right? And tarot doesn't give me names. Like, you don't see names on tarot cards, right? And tarot doesn't give me what else does it give? It doesn't give me locations, although it could give me the energy, but it doesn't give me any locations. I literally hear this stuff, right? But anyway, let's see. Does T.D. Jakes have anything to do with the association that P. Diddy is linked in? Let's see. Show us the truth, please. Pull the energy on that real quick. Does T.D. Jakes have anything to do with it? King of Cups, the High Priestess, the Hangman. Wait. Ten of Swords. Knight of Swords, Five of Swords, Two of Wands. Not 100%. He's somewhat affiliated, but he's not deep into it like P. Diddy. It's like, we'll look more into this in the future, but it's somewhat of a connection, but it's not deep rooted. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the next video clip, please.
I may not be your pastor. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. I'm not offended. I don't feel rejected. I don't have abandonment issues. But if God gave me something that feeds you and feeds your dreams and makes your baby leap, if God gave me a way of explaining the word that you understand it and you get it and you feel your soul growing, It doesn't matter that I'm not like you. I don't have to be a woman to preach to women. I don't have to be white to preach to white people. I don't have to be black to preach to black people. All I have to do is have something that's deeper than skin and deeper than gender and deeper than race, and I can reach you.
He's 100% point on that. I would agree with that. That's all he needs to do is to be able to reach you. And again, like I said, no matter what he's going through right now, no matter what he's about to be going through, doesn't take away from the books that you could get, you know, that he's put out there, the motivational tools, the inspirational tools that are life changes, right? It don't take away from it. And I mean, you could lose out. You could literally miss out thinking to let what he is going through right now, to let his downfall keep you away from being successful. Everybody has something to give in this lifetime, right? Everybody has something to give, and he has a lot of it. A lot. Literally a lot, right? All right, so anyway.
Bishop T.D. Jakes.
9 a.m. for service. Right early in the
All right. So that was Bishop T.D. Jakes on the dance floor, cutting loose. Y'all hating on him for wobbling with it or whatever. Listen, I don't see any wrong. I see no wrong in that. He was cutting up. He was enjoying himself. It was fun. You guys who are being too much, like, holier than thou, like, please save it. Save it. I love every bit of that. That's all I gotta say. I condone it. I support it 100%.
Did you say your name was again? Dan Boyle with the Weld County District Attorney's Office.
Ooh, that was the Watts dude, Chris Watts. No, we're not gonna have him up on here today.
Would you come tell what the Lord told you?
God bless you. It's caught me a little off guard, Bishop. A couple of, what was it, 3 or 4 days ago? 3 or 4 days ago, I called. I was at Manpower and being blessed. Wrote my check out. I said, you know, I didn't have my checkbook when I got to Pastor White's. When I got to Woman Thou Loosed the night before, and Pastor White said, you know, write a check for $113,000 for those of you who can. Write a check for $113 for Psalms 113. And I wrote a check for $113,000. And I admit, my intention was to just leave the check and bless God. Because, see, I love to give. I've been a giver all my life. And when people have given to you and sown into you, and God has touched them and given you favor, because see, when you have favor with, come on somebody. See, they don't understand it where I come from. They don't understand it in Hollywood, but I'm going to tell you something about the blood of Jesus. All of my life, you know, my mother, she didn't have much to give me. She didn't have millions of dollars. She didn't have some legacy, but she had Jesus. And she taught me about that God. So I didn't even know that he was trying to build this youth center. I didn't even know it, but I know how important the youth are. So we were sitting in the service, and I leaned up toward him, and I said, I've just been touched to give $1 million. So when you got up here and you said $1 million, I said, God, I don't know what you're doing, but I know I heard your voice. Hey! I'm going to tell you right now, when you hear the voice of God, you move. Don't worry about what nobody says to you. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about your enemy. Don't worry about your hater. He will bless you. He will lift you. He will give. Sometimes you spend too much time worried about your haters. You spend too much time worried about people talking about you. But what you need to understand is that the Bible says in order for you to be blessed, your haters have to be present. How do I know that? The book of Psalms says he prepareth a table before me in the presence of my enemies. So in order for me to eat, they have to be present. So God bless you, Bishop. I pray right now that you will continue to do everything you're doing. I pray his anointing will stay upon you. I pray the power of God all over you. I pray his favor. I pray the blood of Jesus will come upon you right now. Keep you in his hair. God, I thank you for your blessings.
Somebody give God some praise. He's pushing that baby out. Come on, he's pushing that baby out. Somebody holler, push, push. Now come on and praise it. Praise him! Praise him! Praise!
Okay. So we see Tyler wind up giving $1 million, but what is $1 million to somebody that has $1 billion, right? It's not really much. I don't know. It was a good thought, good effort, or whatever, but I mean, it's a drop in a bucket, really. It's appreciated, but it's a drop in a bucket. It's also a tax write-off, right? Also, when you give money like that, especially in the church, what does it do? It's a reach. It's to get everybody else there giving the most, giving everything they got in their bank account, right? Giving their rent money. These people gonna go out there, give everything they got in their saving account, to wind up getting evicted, right? No place to go. Then they go to the church, and the church don't got money to give them or whatever. Or don't give them money. Not that they don't got money to give them. They're not gonna give them money. Most of them, at least, especially a lot of the black churches. And then they left out high and dry and on the streets with the kids after, you know what I mean? People lights getting shut off, no food in the fridge and stuff like that. They giving everything they got. And not to say you shouldn't give, because I have learned when you do give, you do receive a lot. So sometimes there are lessons in that. And, you know, you just got to know, it's up to you what you want to give. And when you do give, you do receive, but you got to be careful about this stuff, because it's a setup. It's a setup for your pockets, and they know exactly what they're doing. They playing you like they the puppeteer and you're the puppet, and they calling you and they moving you, and they know that when you see this happening, like, all right, now you're gonna support Tyler more. Now you're gonna go as soon as his movie come out. You know what I mean? Because now it's an explosion. Now it's like, all right, Tyler did what? All right, now we gotta support Tyler. All his films, like, you know, he put anything he does, we supporting him, right? So now it's a major move to support Tyler, right? It's a major move to give back to Tyler. It's a major move to give to empty out everything you got to the Potter's house, you know? So anyway, moving on along to the next video. What we got next? What we got next? All right, so big issue there. So although TD Jakes is good, he got love for everybody. Yeah, woo, that's the issue. That's the issue right now. We facing TD Jakes got love for everybody. That's the issue. He got love for too much people out there. Now, the police officer, the state police, whoever that is, right, is dancing up there, Fruity. No hate. But if he's preaching the gospel where, you know, you gotta have some discipline, they not believing in that, you know, he's preaching against that, but yet you up there cheering it on. It's like, what are we here leading and living a double life? You know, it's like, I'm just thinking about some things. Well, my old pastor, first of all, there's a few of them, but not my last one. But my second to last one, I got my share issues with him as well. It's a church that I actually received miracles in, actually, and I was blessed by. But in the end, I was also there was some issues that caught me off guard that I was disturbed by in a way as well. But I remember that pastor. And I remember this teenage boy who was going to pass away. I forget what sickness he had, health issue he had going on. And I remember him preaching a sermon, and he said that, you know, you're not going to go to heaven with living a certain lifestyle. Or I don't think that the teenage guy was gay or whatever, but, you know, just even appearing to be gay. You know, he had an earring in his ear, so he was calling for him to take it out or whatever. And the kid, you know, wind up taking the earring out. Some people might say that was good, that was negative, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you consider it, but consider it is fine. You know, you have the right to feel how you feel. But what I'm saying is the pastor was so, what do you call it? He was so convinced, or so, I'm trying to think of the right word here. But so adamant, I still can't think of the right word, but so adamant about how he felt, you know, about what the word said, right? And that you can't live a certain lifestyle and get into heaven. And he didn't want to see these souls lost. But we got Bishop TD Jakes here, and he's just up here looking like he's promoting it. Matter of fact, he's looking down at dude's behind. Matter of fact, you don't believe me? Let's go ahead, and I'm gonna replay that video and watch where his eyes go. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna play that one more time for you, okay? Watch where his eyes go. And in the meantime, I got to get something from downstairs, and I'll be right back. See, and this is why he's not escaping being called a power bottom right now, right? I don't know. He up here looking at bottom, but we're gonna continue.
Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming?
I thought that was edited. I thought it was edited, but it wasn't. Okay, maybe he was just getting his point across during the sermon, but it didn't age real well, right?
Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming?
Bear with me, guys. I gotta get a video on regarding a lady who claims to have a connection to TD Jakes. She seems very legit. We're going to discuss what she has to say. Hold on. I think this is it.
Listen, there's a good chance somebody's trying to hack your website right now. You gotta make sure you're covered.
Ask me my thoughts about the TD Jakes trending, over the last day or so. And so this is my way of responding to the listener request. It's just by actually telling you the story that I started to tell you guys on the podcast that's in the description box. All of this stuff is about to come out, and more is going to come out. And I also want you to stay with me to the end on both part 1 and part 2, because we need to encourage. I want to encourage you, and you may need to be the strength for a younger person in Christ, because yes, there are some of us, when all this stuff comes out, we're not going to be devastated because maybe we knew some of these things, but there will be those who are tender spiritually. A lot of us, we got thick skin spiritually, meaning we've seen some stuff, maybe been through some stuff with ministries or what have you. And so pretty much nothing can surprise us, right? But you got to understand that not everyone is in that position, and don't ever shame people intentionally, I should say, intentionally shame.
So we're going to discuss this lady. Excuse me, Eaton. I might cut off my video for a second. We're just going to listen to this lady from MVMO podcast, and we're going to discuss what she got to say.
Shame people for being devastated when someone they looked up to isn't who they thought they were. See, don't go on a rant about, don't put people on a pedestal. See, that's you, or if it were me, not understanding. All of us have come through that period in our spiritual growth where there was somebody, whether local church or on TV or whoever, that we looked up to, right?
100%.
It's human nature. And so what I'm training myself to do is never kind of slap people on the hand for just being human, and heck, doing things that I've done. There were lots of people when I first gave my life to the Lord that I looked up to, that I later learned, child, they were nothing like who they portrayed themselves to be.
Learned that.
And I was, when I saw it, it did hurt. It was a disappointment. It's normal to feel disappointed. It's like when you grow up and you learn as an adult things about your parents. Well, someone trying to correct you or slap you on the hand and saying you shouldn't be disappointed, you shouldn't put people on pedestal. Well, see, that's someone who,
Okay,
bless
we're
their
gonna have to
darling
rewind,
hearts.
fast
I
forward.
can't even, about 15 minutes from the Potter's house, what we refer to as the old Potter's house. Later on, she and I became friends. She was more, had a mentor. From 1999 to 2000, she was my mentor. Later on, she and I became friends. She was more of an advisor, okay? And she lived in Dallas, Texas. She lived about 15 minutes from the Potter's house, what we refer to as the old Potter's house. It's still there on Keys Boulevard, but the Potter's house of 1999, 2000 was not anything like the Potter's house that you see on television. Maybe if you're a member there now or you've been there visiting, it was nothing like that, okay? But she lived 15 minutes from the church, but she also lived down the road from what was at that time one of the best international Bible colleges in the world. So not just in the US, the world. And that was Christ for the Nations, okay? And what she did, because she was very well known and very well connected in that community there in Oak Cliff, she actually took in boarders from this college, okay? And they would rent rooms in her home, all right? By the time I met her, she was still renting rooms in her home, but Mr. R, okay, his first name started with an R. So Mr. R used to be a boarder in her home. Now, I don't know if he came to her by way of Christ for the Nations because she was so well connected, like friends of hers who had friends or people that were graduating college, like just regular old college. If they needed some place to stay, there was no such thing as Airbnbs. All this stuff is fairly new. They would say, "Oh, well, Mrs. Such and Such takes in boarders. She's got a room available," and things like that. So I don't know, like I said, if that's how he came to her way, but he did. And by the time I met her, Mr. R was a grown man now in his 30s, and he was married. Okay. Now, my mentor told me Mr. R is gay, and his wife knows he's gay. And this was a time where a lot of us can remember this time, if we're old enough, where we didn't see homosexuality then the way we see it and know it to be now. Meaning there was a time when people believed that if a man stopped that type of behavior, let's say if it was the man on the man's part, well, then he could change if he just stopped this type of behavior. And then that was a time when women would marry men who maybe used to be homosexuals, and because they believe, well, he has changed, or that I can change him, or whatever. I don't know if Mr. R married his wife under that guise, but I do know that they were friends for a long time before they married. And so my mentor told me his wife knows he's like that. And very often, well, I shouldn't say very often because that would be an exaggeration, and I don't want to exaggerate. But from time to time, she would tell me about slip-ups. He would come and talk with her. He no longer lived with her, but she was an advisor to him. He would have these, what they call slip-ups, okay? But the wife stayed with him. And to my knowledge, he and the wife were together until the time my mentor passed away. But one day she told me that he had called her, and he told her, "I need to talk with you. I need to get some advice about what I should do." At this time, my mentor, Mr. R, and his wife, they were all members of the Potter's house. My mentor became a member of the Potter's house when T.D. Jakes left West Virginia and started his ministry in Dallas. Before he left West Virginia and started the ministry, he had come to Dallas, Texas a few times to do meetings. And she and all her friends, that's how they learned about him. And so the word had gotten around that he was going to be starting his ministry in Dallas. And so they were already, prepared to leave their churches and join. And so they did. So my mentor, Mr. R, his wife, many other people, they all were on the ground floor of helping that ministry become what it became in Dallas. Mr. R was a part of the ministerial staff. He became a minister, and he was very close to T.D. Jakes. Okay. So let me get back to the story. So basically she tells me that, well, he called and said he needed to talk to me. He needed advice because he was considering leaving the ministry. And she said he told her that, he was going to share some things with her that she could never tell anybody. And so later on, she tells me and a few other people that he did come. They had set up a time and day for him to come to her house. He came and he talked with her for several hours, just divulging stuff. behind the scenes ministry stuff. And she told us some things I can never tell y'all, but what he did tell her was that TD Jakes was gay and that TD Jakes had a relationship with a man. Now, I will stop and say, whether that man was Mr. R, I don't know, because she never told us that. But then she told us there are things I can never say, I can never tell, because I swore, that I wouldn't tell, some of the stuff that he told me. But he also, there was a lady by the name of Rita Twiggs who was a part of this ministry at that time. And she was telling us that, he was telling her about how Rita Twiggs had been cussing people out behind the scenes and just a lot of stuff like that. And I'll tell you, as soon as they got through talking, she left that church. My mentor did. And it devastated her. It hurt her. And by this time, my mentor is in her 70s. When I met her, she was in her 70s, but she was later, later on in her 70s. But it devastated her because I just, this was a time when, we live in a day where learning that somebody's gay is kind of like, what? Okay, whatever. Because we're just so used to it. We're so used to that. Such and such has come out, such and such is now transgender, Caitlyn, Bruce is now Caitlyn, that's kind of the norm here. But this was a time when to learn someone was gay was a shock. Like it was devastating. Okay. And so she was devastated. And I'll tell y'all, she was never the same. Matter of fact, okay, so let me get back to the story because it's so easy to go down rabbit trails with this stuff. So anyway, so as soon as that was over, she left the church and she told me, I want you to come and help me find another church. And so I came back to the state. I would come for business every blue moon and I would visit her and the circle of friends that we had. But I came and not specifically just for that, but it was a time I was going to be coming and we set that up. And I went to 2 churches with her trying to help her find another church. And she never did. But I'll tell you, not too long after the things that Mr. R shared with her and swore her to secrecy to, she had a stroke. And I never said this to any of our friends because I didn't know if it would ever be the right thing to say, but I'm going to say it to y'all because I feel more comfortable telling it to strangers. I always believed, and I still believe it now, that it was the stuff he told her that contributed to her having that stroke because the timeline was just too close. Now, we didn't know this back then. Now, the information was out there. I'm just simply saying we didn't know it.
Okay, so cut. We're going to cut right there. I'm going to go back on camera. We are going to... All right, so I'm asking, I asked Tarot, is the stuff she's saying true? And thank you. I think that was MVMO podcast. And I got the Knight of Cups and the 6 of Swords. It's the thing, yeah. Dead on, yeah. Right. King of Swords, Queen of Swords, very honest, very true. That's what this is. This is truth, and more truth. We get the 9 of Cups, the 6 of Pentacles. You see the Justice. You see the Justice scales. It's truth. We get the 9 of Wands, the Ace of Swords, communicating truth. 8 of Wands, the Hierophant's truth. More than that, what we get is, give me 1 second. More than that, what we get is, I see the stroke, 2 of Swords, the 9 of Swords right here is her stroke. 8 of Pentacles and the Magician. The stroke could have been caused by worry, but then again, it looks like something almost ritualistic could have been attached to that. So let's just double check. What was the reason for the stroke? Was there any type of ritual attached to the stroke? The Magician. What did I tell you? The Ace of Pentacles. Paid. Magician. That's all I'm going to say. So all I'm going to say. Paid. There's some things that I'm going to touch based on later this week. Some celebs that I see are paying for some magic as well. We'll discuss that later this week. Right? That's on another note. Screen messing up on me. It is rather late. Let's see. What else can we play? Give me 1 second, guys. We are gonna go with I was gonna touch on something that Tough was bringing out from Tough News, but I think I'll do that later today. Right? It's 1 a.m, so I think I'll do that later today. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.